This program was recorded with a live audience. Please forgive the occasional sound fluctuations.
Many of us have a lot of trauma in our past. We have got a lot of things, both physical and non-physical, emotional, that we've dealt with. And things like car accidents and falls and bones breaking and not getting loved the way we thought we would get loved from our parents, or maybe being loved too much. Sexual abuse, all sorts of traumas that we've felt in our lives. Odds are that these traumas, whether they're physical or emotional, whether they're money related or relationship related or health related, odds are these things have played out in both your lives and as patterns in the lives of your parents and your grandparents. From an epigenetic standpoint, these patterns are actually imprinted on our genes, on our genetics. These belief systems are then imprinted, and so therefore we attract these experiences again and again. Unfortunately, our parents and grandparents were not given the skill set that can change having to deal with this over and over again. And that skill set is simply this. It's simply to feel what has not been fully felt. And I finally fully recognized this for myself this past week, because one of the patterns that has showed up again and again in my life is a pattern of physical ailments. I can remember a time in my 20s when I had gotten into a car accident, and I remember, and it was a pretty bad car accident, and I remember thinking, oh God, I just want to check out of this experience. I just want to have more pain medication. And at the time I smoked marijuana, and I would smoke marijuana and have more pain medication, and it was never enough. And at the time I remember thinking, oh, I can't actually wait for this to get a little worse. Like, I can't wait to have back surgery. I was really excitedly anticipating it. And I can tell you that now without any shame, because of the fact that, it was true. I really was, excited about it getting a little worse. I was excited somehow about needing that. I can recall laying in my living room. My living room, interestingly enough, back then in my teen years, looked very much like my bedroom does now. And it had very much the same kind of blinds and the same kind of window treatments, and looked out on a very green space. Recently, this last week, I was sick, and I came down with a flu, a really bad flu. I was lying here in my bed, and I remember thinking, oh wow, this feels very familiar to me. I was instantly transported back to that time in my teens, looking out of my window, thinking, oh, I wish this would get worse. Only this time, as I was lying in bed, I just remember thinking, oh, I'm so grateful that I'm going to be better soon, and I'm so grateful that I can consciously be in this experience. Because unlike last time, this time I don't use drugs, I don't take any sort of soporifics to numb myself out when I'm in an experience. I like to experience it fully, no matter what it is. During this experience, I really just let myself feel what it felt like to have to be in bed, and I noticed a peacefulness. I noticed how peaceful it felt, how supported I felt, how I had all the spaciousness and time to just lay in bed. I can just take the time. that's important, because just feeling that experience fully, not trying to numb it out in any way, feeling the experience will transform it. Whatever experience you might have from your past that maybe still comes up, it's so important to just go into it and feel it completely. Let yourself feel it fully conscious. Because when you pour your consciousness into something and you allow those feelings to be felt fully, you will create a ripple effect. You'll actually create a state in which these emotions can transmute. And in fact, oftentimes you will find that family members will call you out of the blue and say, oh my gosh, I really felt a healing around this and I don't know why. Now is the time to really allow yourself to fully feel the feelings. And an exercise that I love to give to clients and students is one from a book that I first read on very, very beginning of my healing journey, called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I wish I had written the book, but Louise wrote it years before. It's helped hundreds of thousands of people. And in this book is an exercise in which you go and sit with your inner child, or that inner part of you that didn't get what it needed at the time. And you just let that part of you express itself, and then you just give it your unconditional love and support. This is such important work, especially for anybody who's had any trauma in their lives. Even if you haven't ever had super traumatic trauma, maybe it's just that you didn't feel loved as a child. Maybe it's just you didn't feel that you got the nurturing that you needed at times. And so you can go back and speak to that child, that inner child part of you that's still there. You know, it's still in the fields, it's still in the quantum field. You can speak to that part of yourself. But in this case, you can go back, and what I love to tell people to do is sit down in a really cozy chair or lay down, and in your mind's eye, picture your now self in a cozy chair. A big plush chair. Set your feet up on an ottoman. Picture that child out in front of you, your inner child, whatever age it was when it had its trauma. And if you had multiple traumas, you can do this multiple times. In fact, I recommend it. See that child out before you. Invite it in to come and sit on your lap and just have a chat. Invite it in with full arms of love. Just say, hey, I'm here to listen to anything you want to tell me about this time. And I'm here to offer you all the love and support that you didn't get. And I'm here to listen to you with the loving ears that you never had. And I'm here to look at you with the loving eyes that didn't get the attention that you needed at that time. And just see what happens. Your inner child might say, I don't want to talk right now. In which case you say, that's okay, and I love you, and you come back and you try the exercise again at a later time. Your inner child might come and sit in your lap and throw a little bit of a tantrum, might start to cry. Any number of things can happen, and your job in your mind's eye is to just pour love into that younger version of you. Pour all the love and support that you wished you would have gotten at the time. Let yourself fully feel what it felt like to not get what you needed, but get it from yourself. This is such a transformative exercise. And again, I encourage you to go and get the book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It's she's got so many great exercises in there, but this is one of them. That's my variation on her exercise. She teaches it a little bit differently. But it's such a magnificent exercise and such a healing one. And in fact, I use this exercise again and again and again throughout all of 2009. And I really did watch much of my life transform. I sat out underneath of a tree in the summer of 2009, and just laid a blanket out and just did this exercise again and again and again, because I had so many traumas that I'd never really dealt with, and they were showing up physically. They were manifesting as pain and disease and illness and inflammation. When I did this exercise, I just watched my body start to shift, and I started to watch myself have different food cravings, and started craving more green juices and salads and less McDonald's and cigarettes. And in fact, that was a year I quit smoking for good. All parts of me really started to shift. So I encourage you to really do the work, really go deep and experience and feel the things that you haven't done. And if you've had really hardcore traumas, I invite you to go seek support when you do this. Don't do it alone. Seek the support of a trusted guide, a counselor, someone who's had experience dealing with trauma and helping facilitate that. So definitely get the support of that. And then also, something that I additionally love, this is a modality I've used a lot of myself, is get some sound healing support. Sound is one of those things that can really break up a lot of density in your physical body. It can go in to places where you don't even understand things are living, and break it up and release it for healing. So definitely get the talk therapy support that you might need, get the counseling support, but also do things like sound therapy, sound frequency support, and I'll pop some links below this video so that you can check those out. Some of my favorite things, and then also some sound frequency support from me too. I'm so delighted and excited that you're on this journey with me, and that you are here doing the work. Here's to you and your light.